Welcome. What is an NFT and how do you get one? We did it in class and let's share with others what we did together. They can go to our site to see greater details. Here's the address. And then they pick on free community and 3 steps to get your NFT. And on that page, the material that we'll be covering is right there. So an NFT could be a work of art or a photo. That's what you did to thank our speaker. But it has to be something that is unique, that there is only one copy of it. How do you do that for a photo? Well, what we did is to embed something like a serial number to that photo. It's like, think of a car. There are 47 million Toyota Corollas, but each one of them has like a serial number, and there is a record of when the car was created, who was the owner, whether the car had any accidents and things of that nature. And with an NFT, you have access to the same information. You're able to see that there is only one copy of this photo and who was the owner, who was the person to whom it was sold, for how much, and so on. All those records are on a public ledger or blockchain. What is a blockchain? Well, we created that in class as well, one following the exact same process used by Bitcoin. And anyone can see it. This is a public ledger, which is the way that is supposed to be. So they can click on that link and then they will see the ledger with all the questions that you created and how it was reviewed by others and when it was done and any edits that were made and any revisions or deletions or anything that you do on that public ledger. Anyone can have access to it and see it. So that is what a blockchain is. And so when we create a blockchain, we put all that information about what we have created in one blockchain. Now, there are different blockchains to create NFTs. And so Kaus and Sush and the students with more of an engineering background spent the last 4 weeks looking for the best blockchain to do this, the one that is more user-friendly, and actually testing it and creating NFTs and sending it and so on. And we have more details about that on our page. Once we have created this NFT in the blockchain, the next step is to transfer that to whoever buys it from us or wants to get it from us. And maybe a good way to think about it is, imagine that you go work for NASA. You are one of very few students who get to do an internship, and you get paid $10,000. Now, all that information that you work at NASA and that you were paid $10,000 is in the HR system at NASA. In crypto jargon, we will call that a blockchain. In the case of the payroll of NASA, we wouldn't have access to it, but when it's in a blockchain, it's public. Now, until you actually go and deposit that check, you don't really have access to the $10,000. But when you deposit that check in a bank, any bank that you want, you have access to it. So a crypto wallet is like a bank account. When you deposit the check into a bank account or a crypto wallet, you are able first to use that money to spend some or send it to someone else to transfer it. And the other thing that you could do is you could go to your account and double click on the check and show to others a photo of the check and say, you see, I got paid $10,000 working at NASA. With a crypto wallet, it's the exact same process. Once you have it into that crypto wallet, you will be able to double click on it and show it to others and say, you see, this is mine, I own this. And also if you want transfer that to others. Now that we know how this works, let's make it accessible to others, to basically anyone. And so what we have done is we have created 3 simple steps for anyone to get their first NFT. This was all done by the students. And when they go to the site, they will see the different steps. This is all going to charity. All the proceeds from this, the students have donated all their time. So one of the things that people could do is to get an NFT to support children in the Ukraine. All the money that comes from this goes completely to the UNICEF Fund for the Ukraine. They simply go in the first step to the site and they pick one version of Elena, a character that was developed by the students who had more of an artist background. Now the students make 2.8 million variations of this character because each one has to be unique and different. And then people can go and personalize it. They can add a legend to the NFT. So the first step is to customize, to pick and customize your NFT. The second step is to pay for the NFT. And the way that this is done, people can pay with Visa, MasterCard, American Express, PayPal, or crypto. And that is all done on the second step. Now, if you pay with a credit card, you have an advantage that you don't have if you pay with crypto. Imagine that all this is fake, that the website that I show you is actually is not true, and you never get your NFT. We pocket all the money. Then because you pay with a credit card, you will be able to call your credit card, dispute the charge, and you won't have to pay for it. You have full protection. When you pay with crypto, you're out of luck. If this is a fraud, you will have no protection. So there are many things for which the all systems could be more convenient to you. Once you have paid for your NFT, then the last step, the third step, will be to get your NFT. And that is the process where we show you how to create a wallet with 2 different options. We get no compensation of any kind from anyone to show all this. So we walk you through the different processes and so on, and you will be able to get that wallet and your NFT. To make it easier for people, they can donate $100 to cover all these transactions costs and so on. But those who don't have $100, that they have, for example, $10, we help them create a group, and they can get one together as a group, and you'll be sent to that. For those who want to make a bigger donation, $10,000 or so, we also show the direct address for UNICEF, and you just send the money to UNICEF and then tell us that you did it, and we'll send you the NFT. Here, the whole idea is to help others, to help you get your first NFT and see how the process works. And then if you're a small business, you can also go through the same process, and students will help you design the NFT for your business and get your NFT. So we have done the entire process. Now, for those of you who are students, who are marketing students, what I want you to reflect upon is 2 things. One is when you go to a job interview and we ask you in companies, what do you think about NFTs? Do you think that it could help us get more clients? What would you say? And the second question is, if you were asked, how can we make it easier for people, for consumers to learn what an NFT is, and also reduce the transaction cost, which can be very expensive. It can simply cost up to $400 just for one if you don't manage it well. How will you respond to that question? And all the material is what we learned in class. I'll see you there.